a little crazy hair thing going on, some, new growth poking out. So we love that for me, but it looks a little different. So we'll just go with that. So maybe there is some new growth also in your life. You're starting to see the results of something that you have been putting time and effort into. If you've been using hair growth serum or even rosemary water, that's what I use, then maybe you're starting to see that new growth. If you've been investing in yourself in other ways, maybe you're starting to see that new growth. I am called to use the Streetwise Tarot. It's from Etsy. So let's see what message this has for us today. I want to say that this is a timeless message. So whenever it finds you, that's when it's meant to find you. But it's also being recorded on the last day of January. So there is something that is closing, some cycle closing, and we are entering into a new cycle, entering into a new month, entering into expansion and growth in some area of our lives. So let me see, what do you most need to hear in this moment? Strength. I think you need to be reminded that you are the strongest person that you know. And I also feel like it's about being confident in who you are and stepping up in your own life. Being the king of the jungle in your own life. Being the leader in your life. But it's also about finding your strength through love, through leadership, and not through bullying and brute force. So there is a very distinct difference there. And it's almost like giving me the feeling of advancing the right way, not having to step on anyone to do that. What crosses that is Ace of Cups, New Love. It does feel, because this is sideways, so it's crossing it, that you've been stuck in some kind of cycle, but it feels like an emotional stuckness. There's something here. It's almost like new love is being blocked in some way. I'm curious as to why or what that could mean. It's kind of giving me the feeling of you've had to heal from some really hurtful things in the past, from really hurtful relationships. And so it has given you this particular guardedness. And it's difficult for you to open yourself back up, to dismantle your walls so that you can let love in, because you have been very protective of your energy. And it's difficult to learn how to be vulnerable again and how to learn to trust the right people. I do think trust issues with other people are really trust issues with yourself. And when you learn to trust yourself, you inadvertently heal those issues you have with other people. I'm having some sinus issues, so please excuse me. It doesn't stop me from wanting to get you a message. Okay, so the foundation of this whole situation is the Queen of Swords. It's the power of words, the power of your words, the power of your speech. They don't call it spelling for nothing. It feels like standing on business, but also holding your boundaries in a lot of ways. And again, that goes to that protectiveness that you've had. And I think it has been a journey for you to learn to speak your own mind. Again, learn to stand up and defend yourself. But it also gives me this feeling of you finally knowing who you are and figuring out your value and what you bring, what you contribute to the lives of other people. But it also is recognizing the power of your words. I mean, because honestly, your words can cut to the bone. You know just what to say to cut to the heart of the matter, to hurt someone the deepest. And so that's why it's so important to be responsible with your words, because of the power they wield. The passing influence is Ace of Wands, so that's another new beginning. Although it is in the passing influence, so it is in the past, but it's also what has influenced you up to this point. And it is about finding new passion, new direction, new creativity, new motivation even. It kind of, because we have the Ace of Cups there, it kind of is making me feel like picking a different type of partner, not going for your usual type. And that could be in relationships, but that could also be in friendships. But it also kind of feels like there was something here. There was some kind of catalyst. Some kind of catalyst that spurred you into action or in a new direction. You experienced something you hadn't experienced. You saw something that you can't unsee. Something along those lines, but it has almost changed the direction you're headed in, or changed the course of your journey in some way. What's on your mind is the Sun, the truth. Again, it's like you saw something that you can't unsee. You recognized a certain pattern that was not honoring to yourself. But I think this is about also seeking a higher truth than you have previously known. But it's also being unapologetic about who you are, living in your own light, standing in your truth. Again, standing on business. But there is this spiritual essence about you. So it does feel like you are very connected to the divine in some way. Like your spirituality runs very deep, and it is a big part of your purpose in this particular incarnation. I also feel like there's a connection here with sun gazing. So if you don't currently do that, maybe look into that, into sun gazing. And that is gazing into the sun within 1 hour of sunrise or 1 hour of sunset. Those are the safe zones. And so sun gazing, because I do feel like you would potentially receive some very channeled messages from source through sun gazing. But I do feel also that it's about you being seen for your greatness in some way. Other people seeing you in a new light. It's almost like there's this spotlight on you, but it's a very natural light and not like a fluorescent, harsh, false light. Let me pause this while I grab those off the floor. Okay, so there was 4 of them on the floor. I guess I'm just going to go in order. So the near future would be this 4 of Wands on top. 4 of Wands is a stability. And it's also about a connection, or I'm hearing the word communion. So I don't know exactly how that resonates for you. It is kind of interesting because we had the Ace of Swords sideways, the Ace of Wands, and now we have the 4 of Wands. Because sometimes this is seen as the marriage card because it is about that commitment and that connection. But it's also on a lot of levels about finding your footing, finding your happiness. And I think also on top of that, recognizing that your happiness is absolutely your responsibility. But likewise, other people's happiness is their responsibility. The way you see the situation is the Tower. The thing with the Tower, though, is that yes, something is being destroyed in some sense, but it's also about clearing the path ahead. So, whatever this tower is, this tower moment, this thing in your life that seems to have fallen apart around you, or even it could be something very internal, something inside of you seems to be falling apart. But the thing is, the tower is really about things falling into place. They sometimes look like they're falling apart, but they're falling into place because there is some obstacle here that is being destroyed. So, in essence, it is clearing the path ahead. So, there's definitely some chaos. And I think there's certain moments where you could almost feel like you're drowning, whether it's just dealing with the everyday life stuff, drowning in debt, drowning in loneliness, drowning in work, whatever it is. The thing is, the tower is really a castle in this picture. So I feel like, for me, it feels like there's spiritual royalty here. But this is not actually destroyed. So the thing is, you're a lot more solid than you think you are. And I kind of cringe on the inside when I hear people say that they are broken, because they are not. You've overcome a lot of things. You have healed in a lot of ways. And you are not now, nor have you ever been broken. Maybe conditioned to specific patterns, but not broken. Because the fact that you're here today, that speaks of your resilience. You are not broken. It's not falling apart, it's falling into place. Something is being cleared. Some obstacle is being cleared. Now the thing, for the way other people see the situation, this is the card that was face down. So I think there are certain opinions or viewpoints that others have that have not previously been revealed, but I do feel like they will be revealed soon enough. Like someone has a crush on you, they reveal it, or somebody low-key is praying for your downfall. Those people will be revealed. Their intentions will be revealed. This is Six of Swords. That's the thing, is Six of Swords is about moving away from chaos and turbulence and moving into smoother waters, smooth sailing. I think sometimes when people see that you're succeeding, even if it's in your mindset, that will expose those who are not cheering for you. The thing that comes to mind is that I lived 30 years of my life with an extremely negative mindset. Extremely negative mindset. I literally told myself every day that life hated me. And then I read a book. It was The Power by Rhonda Byrne. It was the sequel to The Secret. So I read The Power, and it literally changed my mindset, and I started thinking positive. But my closest friend that I had had for a while, my closest friend did not like that. Because when I changed my thinking and became a much more positive person, not only have the last 14 years of my life been vastly different, I have healed so many things. And I have acquired prosperity and abundance in deeper, more meaningful ways. I have not struggled near like I did. But the thing is, I lost some close friends because they no longer were on the same frequency. Because when I was negative, everything was fine. We were close, everything was fine. I depended on them for this emotional, whatever it was. It was a very negative emotional dependence. But the second I turned positive, they showed themselves, and I very, very quickly lost friends. And so, long story long, when you change your mindset, other people will expose themselves. They will reveal whether they're really cheering for you or not. And there will be people who are cheering for you that you didn't expect to cheer for you. And there will be people who turn on you that you thought you'd have in your life forever. But this is about bettering yourself. This is about achieving happiness and really taking it into your own hands and letting other people recognize that, because I do think other people are recognizing that. Again, you have this very authentic, natural spotlight on you now. But the thing is, your shine comes from so deep inside. It's like you can't help but be more gorgeous to other people because of this internal shine. Okay, the emotions of the situation is this Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is kind of an interesting thing because it's traditionally a person sitting under a tree looking at these three cups and feeling kind of apathetic, and it's like the least of all evil type of choice. Like, that's not really what I want. None of those are really satisfactory. But the thing is, there is this fourth cup that's coming out of nowhere. This fourth cup that is literally manifesting out of thin air as the solution. So it's like divine intervention in some ways. This kind of feels like to me that, because this guy, like on the card, he's at a party, but he doesn't look like he's having the best time. And so it feels like he's understanding, and by he, I mean you, understanding that your frequency is changing. The things that used to distract you or satisfy you are no longer doing that. And I think you're recognizing that you're operating on a new frequency. But that is precisely what is needed. Because everything is energy, everything is vibration. And when you change your mindset, when you change the emotional codependence that you have with certain people, you literally change your life. And you can literally be lonely in a crowded room. But I think it's recognizing that you are not who other people thought you were or expected you to be. You're not who you thought you were, not anymore. But it is about a transformation happening. But it's also, I think, about divine intervention. It's about a solution that you don't see coming. It's very emotional. Kind of interesting because you have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups and the Four of Wands. So it's almost like I don't do love readings, but I'm wondering if there's some kind of healthy emotional connection that you're manifesting. Because that could even be part of the Tower, about tearing down those preconceived notions of yourself, doing away with that faulty narrative that you have been repeating to yourself. I think it's about finding your own stability, finding your own footing, finding yourself in a brave new world. But I think also because there's this huge split that's happening. Huge split. There's a lot of division. And I think it's very It's very energetic. And so again, as your frequency shifts, you're going to, are you going to stay in 3D? Are you going to 5D? And I think when you heal certain emotional aspects and even mental aspects, then you really set yourself up for success when you do that. Interestingly, the final outcome is 9 of Cups. That's wish fulfillment. That's satisfaction. And this guy, this hot guy on this card, he does have a wedding ring on. But it's 9 of Cups. It's your happiness. Whatever your truest, deepest desires are. Whether that's marriage, whether it's commitment, whether it's a new high-paying career, whether it's moving out of the country, whatever it may be. Buying a house. I want to say by the beach, but I don't know if that's the best idea right now, but hey, to each their own. Because this is your wish fulfillment. This is your world. We're all just living in it. And that's the thing is, you get to decide what your happiness looks like. Other people don't get to decide that. The thing is, the card that came before the 9 of Cups is the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups is about walking away from all the time and energy and effort that you've put into something. These 8 cups. Because you know that you've done all that you can. The past is the past. Bygones be bygones. And you're moving into searching for your wish fulfillment. At the end of the day, you will find it. Whatever you seek is seeking you. All of your healing will not be for nothing. The thing is, the overall energy is the Devil card, which can be scary, I think, but it's also about temptation. It's interesting because this character's, they're like in a bar. So again, surrounded by people. And that makes me think of this one who's like, you know what, this isn't really my scene anymore. I don't really connect with these people in the same way. And I think once you decide to better yourself, life's going to throw some twists and turns at you to make sure that you want what it is that you say that you want. Life's going to test you. And they're going to throw some temptations your way. So it's important not to get caught up in the distractions. Not to get caught up in the temptations. Because the thing is, sometimes before you get to say yes to what you do want, you have to say no to what you don't want. If you want a steady, solid, secure relationship, a long-term commitment, you damn well better say no to that friends with benefits, because that is not what you want. You have to say no to what you don't want before you can say yes to what you do want. Under the Devil is the Chariot. That's about hopping in your hot rod and taking a trip. But it's also about getting your shit together, moving in a positive forward direction. But I think there's a lot of, because the Chariot always makes me think of healing, like shadow work, doing your shadow work, facing your demons. And in doing so, that becomes part of your power, your strength. In facing the unknown, getting out of the fear mode. And I think also it's about taking charge of your life. You are the driver. You can't let fear drive the car. You are the driver. You are the one that decides who you are, what you want, where you're going, what you're working towards, where you're moving to in life, and how you get there. Whether it's a slow-ass horse or buggy or it's this hot rod, you get to decide how you get there. When I picked that up, under it was death. And death is really a new beginning. It's about leaving something behind. But the thing with death is that it's a natural ending. It's a natural ending to a situation. So there is something that simply has no longer been working in your life. And I'm not saying it's good or bad or whatever. It's just simply no longer working for you. No judgment in that. No criticism, no hate. Just knowing that you're not on that frequency anymore. That's not who you are. And it is about transformation, stepping into this version of you who achieves wish fulfillment. It's almost like no longer sabotaging yourself. Because that is part of that wish fulfillment, is leaving the past in the past. Being willing to walk away from something that is not making you happy. And going in search of something that is. But also, I think you have to recognize that happiness is an inside job. Other people can't truly make you happy. You can only make yourself happy. Other people can add to your happiness, but they can't actually make you happy. And it's not their job to. It's your job to. So that's part of cutting away that emotional codependence. Don't rely on other people for your happiness. That's your job. And the truth is, you have everything you need because you've been through so much and you have so much capacity to experience true joy and happiness in your life. Because again, there's this beautiful light that's being shined down upon you. It's like the spotlight of spirit is like, hey, listen, this is your time. This is your time to shine. And you have to know that you are absolutely equipped with everything you need to be successful, to be abundant, to be prosperous, to be happy. You're already everything. You're not broken. You're already everything you need. Just give yourself some more credit. I love you. I hope that helped.